Thank you for singing.
You're welcome.
Oh, I thought that's what that mic was for. No? Okay. 108. Not quite. Not quite. You had the timer up, but it's not 10:30 yet. That clock is fast. Good morning, Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. Please rise in body and/or spirit for our opening hymn number 108, My Life Flows On, an Endless Song.
Good morning. For those who don't know me, my name is Becky Bogert, and I am both humbled and proud to serve with a wonderful group from this congregation on the Board of Trustees. We'd like to extend a very warm welcome this morning to everyone here, and especially to our visitors both on campus and over live stream. And we invite our visitors to participate in any of our events. If you're here in person, you will find a few of the events in the insert. And just know that you're welcome. We love people to come and experience who we are. We welcome visitors to find out more about Unitarian Universalism by registering on our virtual guest book, which you can find via a link on the homepage of our website at uusrq.org. If you are in person, there's a sign-up sheet for visitors at the welcome table. If you do, we will send you our weekly newsletter and Zoom links to our virtual events, and there are many. Members, please be sure to greet any visitors on your way out of the service today. They will have special paper name tags, and first-time visitors have the red borders. You never know when you might be meeting your new best friend. We look forward to getting to know each other and really bringing people into UU closely. You're also invited. Today is potluck. If you're a visitor or if you forgot your pot, make sure you still come. I didn't mean that. And only in UU would you have all picked up on it. Please come and share. We always have plenty of food and love to share it with others. There's no better way to get to know someone in a meaningful way than to connect with someone new over food. We have a couple brief announcements. One, please join us for our UU Passover Seder on Thursday evening, April 2nd at 6 p.m. Registration is required. It'll be online to register or in the courtyard after services next week. Our big one, and a tribute to Nadine Schwab, who stepped up and said she would run our flea market for us. Here's flea market coming up. Next Saturday, it's not that far away, March 14th, from 8:30 to 1. We need new and gently used items, and here's the drop-off days. I believe they're also in your program if you want to take that home and put it on your refrigerator. People will be out in the pod after service behind the sanctuary, and in this coming week in the courtyard. Monday, March 9th from 10 to 1. Tuesday, March 10th from 10 to 1. Wednesday, March 11th from 10 to 1. Thursday, March 12th from 11 to noon. And there's a list in the program and also in the newsletter as to what they need, and welcome. Members have a special privilege, and I always go to this. It's pre-sale event. That's Friday evening, 4:30 to 6:30. There'll be wine and cheese, and then the doors open, and you can actually come in and see the sale and purchase before it's open to the public on Saturday. So it's a fun time. Join your fellow members. And tickets for that evening are $10. They're going to be on sale out in front of the Lexau. The other thing too, and I had to laugh because Nadine made my comment, just like my mother used to say, if you're able, please help us after service. We have to move all of these chairs to the side of the sanctuary. Many hands make light work. Thank you.
And now we welcome back to hear Bree Rivera and her gift of music to us.
Well, thank you. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, well, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say, hey, that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, 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 one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze you can lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it face you, no way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, well, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say, hey, that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, 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 one day, one day, one day. One day this all will change, treat people the same, stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like why-oh, 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 why-oh. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, 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 one day, one day, one day. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Bree. By the way, I'm Reverend J. Wolin, the settled minister here at the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. Our opening reading today is entitled, Let the Light Lead Us. As we gather to light this chalice, let its light uncover the love that inhabits our bodies and this space. Let its light uncover our curiosity to understand ourselves and others. Let its light uncover the yearnings in our heart for wisdom and justice. Let its light uncover the memories of our religious ancestors who resisted tyranny over their mind and freedoms. Let its light lead us to understanding what is required to make visible through actions the mission and vision of the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. As we light our chalice, please join me now in affirming our value of transformation. We adapt
to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect.
Good morning, everyone. Today's story is Speak Up, Molly Lou Mellon, written by Patty Lavelle and illustrated by David Catro. Molly Lou Mellon was a tiny little girl with a big, deep-down heart. Her mom always told her, be true to yourself. And so, she was. Molly Lou Mellon tried to do the right things in her life, but it didn't always work. Her mom always told her, take responsibility for the things that you do, good or bad. So, she did. Molly Lou Mellon had friends of all shapes and sizes, opinions and ideas. Her mom always told her, accept people for who they are and listen to their ideas, even if they are different than yours. So, she did. Molly Lou Mellon had a loud voice, and she chatted and jabbered and gabbed all the time with her friends. And her mom always told her, "You have a strong voice. Use it to speak up for anyone who might need your help." So she did. In the fall, Molly Lou Mellon started school again with a big yellow backpack and a toothy grin for all of her friends. She sat with Ronald Durkin and Gertie in the front row of their classroom, and Bettina Bunklehead snickered at them and cooed, "Ooh, Molly Lou and Ronald, kissy, kissy, boyfriend, girlfriend." Molly Lou Mellon stood up and she said, "We are friends." And then she exchanged special handshakes with Gertie and Ronald. In the winter, Molly Lou Mellon had to be project partners with Bettina Bunklehead. They accidentally painted all over the desks and not on their papers. It was a little fun. But when the teacher asked who did it, Molly Lou said, "Me," and she had to spend recess cleaning the desks. Bettina said nothing, and she played a great game of pirate outside. But Molly Lou Mellon was mad at first, but then she played her own thrilling game of swabbing the desks. In the spring, a new boy named Garvin Grape started school. He was small, he wore glasses, and his ears stuck out. He told the class all about Newton's law of gravity in a long speech at the front of the room. Bettina Bunklehead rolled her eyes and sneered at Garvin and said, "Big deal," really loudly. Garvin's cheeks turned bright red, and he hung his head. Well, Molly Lou raised her hand and said, "Yes, gravity is a big deal." And then she scribbled a little note and handed it to Garvin. And it read, "Welcome to our school. Nice speech. Join us on the playground at recess. We can test out some gravity." ML, G, and RD. And on the first day of summer, Bettina Bunklehead showed up at camp and promptly stuck her foot out, tripping Garvin Grape. He crashed to the ground and his glasses went flying. Bettina grinned and chirped, "Ooh, smarty pants. Looks like gravity gotcha." Molly Lou caught Garvin's glasses in midair and then went nose to nose with Bettina and said, "You must never do anything like that again to my friend. Friends stand up for one another." So Ronald stepped forward, and so did Gertie, waving her crutch. And they pulled Garvin Grape up, linked arms, and the four friends together shouted, "If you want to be a friend, it's all up to you. And we think you know what you need to do." Next page. There you go. The end. So, today's topic is resistance. And resistance comes in many forms. We resist at times doing the things that we should. And for some of us, we have to resist doing the things we know we shouldn't do. Often we resist change, not because it's perfect, but it's what we know how to handle. And we hear of resistant movements where people stand up and speak up against bad rules and laws and actions. Resistance can come from anger, but I think resistance can also come from a place of love. Molly Lou showed loving resistance to Bettina's bad behavior, but she didn't shut Bettina out from becoming a friend. We often forget that when we stand firm in our righteous anger, we lose the ability to bring about positive change. Thank you. I now invite any children and youth to join me, thank you, and Ms. Kristen outside these doors before we're heading to our classes where we'll learn about food waste and the impact on our environment. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to Reverend Jay for allowing me to change the songs on the program last minute. If you guys are reading the songs and you're thinking, she's not singing Marvin Gaye. Sometimes things just click last minute, and I felt that the songs that I chose maybe fit better for me and maybe for you guys. This next song, I hope it's a pleasant surprise, and if you know it, sing it with me. 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the whole world's made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head and I'm feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I strip the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I try, oh my God, do I try? I try all the time in this institution. Oh, and I pray, oh my God, do I pray? I pray every single day for a revolution. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head and I'm feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream to the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? Ooh, 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 ooh. "25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination."
always have to follow them. Our centering inwards today are Breathe by the Reverend Lynn Unger. Breathe, said the wind. How can I breathe at a time like this, when the air is full of the smoke of the burning trees, burning lives? Just breathe, the wind insisted. Easy for you to say, if the weight of injustice is not wrapped around your throat, cutting off all air. I need you to breathe. I need you to breathe. Don't tell me to be calm when there are so many reasons to be angry. So much cause for despair. I didn't say be calm, said the wind. I said to breathe. We're going to need a lot of air to make this hurricane together. As we go into a time of silence, I ask you to contemplate what change you are imagining in the future. E.B. White wrote, "If the world were merely seductive, that would be easy. If it were merely challenging, that would be no problem. But I arise in the morning torn between a desire to improve the world and a desire to enjoy the world. And this makes it hard to plan the day." End quote. I admit I am challenged by many things going on in the world today. I have to say, I usually plan my sermon topics out 6 months in advance, collecting articles and journaling along the way. But as I woke up last Sunday with America going to war again, as we live through our government ignoring due process and constitutional protections, as we live through our government killing its own citizens for exercising their constitutional rights of free assembly and protest, as we see America building detention camps and demonizing our neighbors in the name of greed and xenophobia, I woke up last Sunday and I said to myself, I have to change the sermon topic for next week. I am compelled, literally, I'm compelled. When I stood up here last week, I was like, I have to speak about the need to resist. Resist. Like any word, as you heard Catherine say, can have multiple meanings. We can sometimes resist change or growth, but we can also resist authority. Now, as a youngster, I will tell you, I certainly tested authority. Yeah, I came of age during the Nixon administration. The Watergate hearings were on television for all to see. The Pentagon Papers had just been published, by the way, by the Unitarian Universalist Beacon Press, exposing the lies our government told to escalate the war in Vietnam. And so the message I grew up with was very clear. Government authority should be questioned. And so, therefore, also my parents should be questioned. But more than that, I should follow my moral compass, not just the law. And this has gotten me off of jury trials often when I am asked that. But growing up, I did. I tested both parental and social boundaries. I learned that there are consequences to resisting. Sometimes it was worth it, other times it was not. And that is how we learn, honestly. And as I got older and started my career, the biggest challenge was to resist complacency. And let's be honest, sometimes it is just easier to follow the path of least resistance, to go with the flow, to follow the current of the river. And at some point, though, we have to ask, where is the river taking us? Right? If there are rapids, you need to be prepared for that. What if the river leads to Niagara Falls, right? Now, you can't plan for everything, right? You can never know the outcome of each and every action and decision that we take. Still, we can plan what direction we are heading, right? And we can discern what consequences we are willing to accept. And we have to understand as well that there are consequences for not taking action. Now, we should constantly cultivate our values and try to live them out in the world. I think that is what we do when we come together here every Sunday and every program that we go to here. Certainly, I will say the older I have gotten, the more certain I am of my path and the more I am willing to risk. I look less to my own safety than to what kind of world I will leave behind for my children and grandchildren. They will have to make their own choices as well. I do believe that now, this moment in time, in our history, we are at a critical juncture, both as a country and as well as a species. We are living with a government that is breaking all norms to abet a single person to rule this country. Through ICE, we have built a private army that is accountable and has no oversight. And this administration attacks institutions and individuals that oppose them instead of engaging honestly in compromise or debate. And that is what we must resist. Unitarian Universalists have a long history of resisting authority that goes against our principles and our values. We should remember our past. It is an important beacon that shines the way forward for us. Our country was formed to provide power to white land-owning men. And at the same time, we have the beauty of the Declaration of Independence in that it provided a vision for a broader democracy for more people. We should also remember that the U.S. Constitution, in its original form, systemized slavery. But power will not give up power freely. It has to be demanded, and in some cases, taken. And we have changed our Constitution over time. To end slavery, we had to have a civil war. And Unitarians were at the forefront of the abolitionist movement. We created newspapers. We wrote articles and books. Unitarian ministers were part of a group that funded John Brown's violent war to end slavery. Unitarians founded the U.S. Sanitary Commission during the Civil War to support and care for soldiers. I think this really is an important point in that it points to the many roles that people can play in resistance. Some writing, some speaking, some caring, some fighting. Unitarians were also active in the early public education movement. They were co-founders of the ACLU and the NAACP, and Unitarians were deeply involved in the creation of the settlement house movement, working to alleviate poverty in this country. In the past, I've spoken about our association support for the March for Voting Rights in Selma. And another thing, interestingly, I just learned a couple of weeks ago, when longtime civil rights activist Benjamin Chavis was here leading a program a few weeks ago. He told me that the civil rights leaders in the 60s, whenever they came to Washington, D.C., they always met at the All Souls Unitarian Universalist congregation. So resistance is also using our building as a resource for groups resisting injustice, something that we continue here today at this congregation. Unitarians, Universalists, and Unitarian Universalists have been at the forefront of every major social change movement, from abolition to slavery to labor rights to women's suffrage to civil rights to LGBTQ equality to environmental sustainability. But today, though, the challenge is more immediate: saving our democracy. We must resist the fascist tendencies of our current administration. We should remember the current administration is a resistance as well to the vision of a multiracial democracy that was becoming more and more a reality. And this administration is in the minority, but they are organized and unified, and along with corporate powers, they are trying to use the levers of power to try and impose their will. But we must remember that we too have power. This country has a long history of adapting to keep the wealthy in power using a divide and conquer strategy. Starting with Bacon's rebellion in 1676, when poor whites and enslaved Africans joined together to rise up against the Virginia colony. Right after, and colonial leaders, after suppressing that rebellion, colonial leaders granted privileges to poor whites to divide them from enslaved Africans. After the Civil War, we saw Jim Crow segregation in the South and at least informal discrimination in housing and jobs in the North. After the Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s, we saw an increase in mass incarceration of African Americans. And today we see racial minorities pitted against each other, and the demonization of transgender people, Muslims and Jews, to divide those who believe in a multiracial, multicultural democracy. Every advancement we have had as a country has come at a cost and sacrifice of those who first advocated for change. And I believe change will come when we all come together. All of these disparate groups come together and utilize our power for the good of all. And I admit change sometimes happens because of timing, whether it was a depression or a war. Sometimes it was just bringing awareness to the larger country of the actions of those who would do harm. I think of the civil rights movement and the TV coverage of the March on Selma and of them setting dogs to attack children. It is never a straight line, and it is never finished. But it never moves forward without the support of organizations and communities that put forth those visions. And so today I ask you to support us as we take our offering, as we continue to build such a community here where freedom can flourish. Please give generously for those online or here on your cell phone. There's a link to donate in the description of the YouTube video, or there is a QR code on the screen behind me and in your order of service. Let this sacred time begin. And next reading is from Rabbi Abraham Heschel. Surrender to despair is surrender to evil. It is important to feel anxiety. It is sinful to wallow in despair. There are those who maintain that the situation is too grave for us to do much about it, that whatever we might do would be too little and too late, that the most practical thing we can do is to weep and to despair. If such a message is true, then God has spoken in vain. History is not all darkness. It was good that Moses did not study theology under the teachers of this message. Otherwise, I would still be in Egypt building pyramids. The great heresy is despair. Despair of humanity's power for goodness and humanity's power for love. And now one more time, Rivera.
Get up, stand up, get up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's not like glitter, it's gold. Half the story ain't never been told. So now you see the light. Stand up for your right. Come on now, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. There we go. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything, make everybody feel high. But you know what life is worth. You will look for yours on earth. And now you see the light. You stand up for your right. Come on now, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Don't give it up. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. You're sick and tired of your essence, kissing, great, dying, God of heaven, and in Jesus' name. We know and we understand. Almighty God is a living man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can fool all the people all the time. So now we see the light. Yeah, we stand up for our right. Come on now, get up, stand up. Get up for your right. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Come on. Get up, stand up. stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight.
Woo! I'm energized. I could speak for another hour. But I only have 10 minutes, so. For us as Unitarian Universalist, resistance is not simply political, it is a spiritual act. It is how we live out our covenant to transform people and the world, to be grounded in love, in justice, and in interdependence. So what do we do? How do we resist here and now? Well, I think of the recently highly publicized murders by ICE in Minnesota, sadly give us a clue. Renee Good, a 37-year-old American citizen, was killed for watching what ICE agents were doing. And as she attempted to drive away, to de-escalate the conflict, her last words to the ICE agent was, "I don't hate you." I want you to think about that. That is such an important message. We must not let hate envelop us. We can't change what other people do, but we can keep to our values, and we must live by the ethos of love. That doesn't mean we have to accept bad actors, but that is why resistance has to be a mindset. Right? There's a story about an elderly activist and minister, A.J. Musk, and during the Vietnam War, he would frequently protest alone outside the White House with a candle, lit candle. And when a reporter asked if he thought that this would change the government policy, Musk replied, "Oh no, I don't do it to change them. I do it so they don't change me." And I think that is another important lesson. We must constantly refresh ourselves, remind ourselves, and yes, even enjoy ourselves. It's a way to remind us what it is we are fighting for. Right? Conversely, reading about the 1960s civil rights movement, singing freedom songs was an important tactic of that movement. There are numerous interviews and writings about how the singing actually unnerved, annoyed, and irritated the segregationists and jailers. Some people are interested in power, and others are interested in freedom, including the freedom to sing and the freedom to be joyful, right? So the freedom to be accepted for who you are, the freedom for everyone to utilize the rights that are offered in our Constitution without being shot by government officials. And then days after Renee Good's murder, Alex Preddy, a 37-year-old ICU nurse who cared for veterans, was fatally shot multiple times while holding a phone, trying to protect another person. And his last words to that person he was helping before he was shot was, "Are you okay?" So I want you to let that sink in for a moment. A caregiver for the vulnerable, a witness to suffering, murdered by law enforcement, murdered without accountability, just for caring about his neighbors. I tell you, friends, this is a moral crisis for our country. And yes, there is risk, but this is why we must show up all the time in whatever way that we can. The pressure brought by the public highlighting of ICE's brutish and violent tactics became aware to the larger public, and that changed the government actions. It is sad that it took white people to die to get the attention of the larger country, but there is a point in that. What is happening to people of color is just a prelude of what could happen to white people if we disagree with the government. So I say that no one is free until everyone is free. Let me hear you say that. No one is free until everyone is free. So therefore, we must show up for anyone and everyone who needs us in whatever way that we can. You know, I'm often asked, as a matter of fact, we just had a conversation about this before the service, about whether I think protest marches such as the No Kings on March 28th, put it on your calendar, are worthwhile. And I think they serve a few very important functions. First, it reminds us that we are not a small minority that believes what we believe. And that can be hard to remember with the onslaught of propaganda that we constantly hear. Protests remind us that there are many, many others who have similar values to us. They also show those in power that many people see through their lies. And that's also important knowledge for them to see. And most importantly, protests inspire people to act. Even if you are already active, your presence strengthens the message for people who are newer to the process. And so now, I'm going to say I do not know what will happen next November. There have been fears that the government will try and intercede with the next election. We've already seen the Republican Party unprecedentedly redistrict in whatever states they could gain advantage. And then we saw that was soon followed by the Democratic Party doing likewise to even the playing field. We've heard the president say they may put armed services to protect voting machines. I've heard theories that duly elected officials will not be seated. I don't know if any of this will come to pass, but we have to be ready to save democracy. So what can we do? We can be educated and we can educate others. We can listen to our neighbors and then talk to our neighbors. Do not be afraid. I've had some great conversations with neighbors who do support the president, and they're neighbors, so we sit and listen to each other, right? I will tell you, don't be afraid. Speak to your representative, not only about safeguarding this election, but expanding voting rights. And if you are eligible to vote, please make sure that you are registered to vote, and they have not taken you off the rolls. I've heard a couple of people who've told me that has happened. And then please make sure that if you are eligible to vote, that you vote. And if this election is stolen, then we have to have a plan to shut this country down through general strikes and mass mobilization. We saw in Minneapolis what kind of pressure can be brought to bear when enough people are willing to stand up for justice and stand up for our neighbors. I choose to work for justice, to give voice to the voiceless, to empower the unpowered or the powerless. This is why resistance is a spiritual practice for me. For if we are to truly live out our values, we have to make them real in the world. We have to be clear in presenting a vision of what we do want, not just argue against what we don't want. Right? We have to be clear about that, to put forth a moral vision of what we will do when we have power. We must stay united despite individual policy differences and the degree to which we would pressure or pursue any particular issue. We must maintain our moral compass. We must continue to show the world that a new way is possible. Today, there is a stark contrast between our values and the values that our country often lives out. We never know when a breakthrough will come through. We don't. Nothing is inevitable. Nothing is given freely. We have to resist, and like so many times before in this country, in our history, change will happen. It always has, and it always will. So as we leave this sacred space today, let us go forward. And let us resist alienation with connection. Let us resist damage with healing. Let us resist ruthlessness with mercy. And let us resist despair with action. So that we can make real the mission and vision of the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. May it be so. Please rise in body and/or spirit for our closing hymn, 10:15, I Know I Can. We'll do verses 1, 2, 4, and 5. Our closing words are from a poem by Lauren Brantz. In a time of hate, love is an act of resistance. In a time of fear, faith is an act of resistance. In a time of misinformation, education is an act of resistance. In a time of poor leadership, community is an act of resistance. In a time like this, joy is an act of resistance. Resist, resist, resist. One more time. Resist, resist, resist. Please join me in extinguishing our chalice. The words on the screen. Hard to read. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth.
The warmth of community or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you for your presence here today. Go forth, resist, and eat with joy.